Hi, my name is Xiong Chang. I'm a graduate of Hollywood High School as well as the University of Western Australia. For the last 25 years, I've worked in corporations in Perth, in Sydney, and in Hong Kong. For the last 10 years, I've been documenting the unhealthy influence of the Chinese Communist Party in Western Australia. It encompasses cultural organizations, universities, media, and most importantly, major political parties. Okay. Today is Thursday, the first year of Lunar New Year. To all my Tibetan friends, I wish you Losa Tashi Dalak. Now, we have to wear a mask today because of the Wuhan virus. The Wuhan virus, as people know, or most people now believe, came from a lab. Just like the coronavirus one, that came from a lab in Beijing. The most likely source of the Wuhan virus was from a lab in Wuhan. And the most likely source of the virus coming from that lab, rather from a person, is most likely from a laboratory rat. There was some experimentation going on, and a laboratory rat made its way to the wet market. And that's how we got crossover from the lab to a human being. Whereas the coronavirus one, the SARS virus, someone had transported that, a researcher from a laboratory in Beijing all the way to Hong Kong. Now, we're all scared. Governments around the world, including in Western Australia, have made us all scared of this Wuhan virus, calling it a pandemic. So much so that all of us are forced to wear a mask. I'm wearing one, but I'm just taking it off for part of this speech of mine. And the reason why, there are 6 other reasons why we should be more scared than this pandemic. Because just over the last 12 months in Western Australia, we have seen the undue influence of the Chinese Communist Party on Western Australia. All West Australians, all Australians should be worried about this undue influence. Back in February last year, 2020, a Shunyin Performance Group, the world-renowned Shunyin Performance Group, was denied access to a government-owned theatre, the Her Majesty's Theatre, which is just down the road from here. The consul intervened and made sure that they could not use a government-owned facility. That's incident number 1. Incident number 2, in April this year, our preeminent newspaper group, the West Australian. This is where 500,000 of West Australians read this newspaper every day. They were hacked. There was a breach of security. In other words, anyone who subscribes to West or enters competition, their information was compromised. So much so that the West Australian had to notify all their readers, all their subscribers of this severe breach of security. Incident number 3, in May last year, 2020, Mark McGowan, the Premier of Western Australia, he had his account hacked. Also, a very severe breach of security that's happened. In June last year, at the June 4th incident, on June 4th, we witnessed Chinese consul spying on Chinese citizens and Australian citizens, including politicians. This was all recorded. And in fact, the consul had to be chased. But that was not only those 4 instances. In October, the Chinese Communist Party tried or attempted to win a spot on the Perth City Council, also not far from here, right, by getting their agents to get someone elected that would have pursued the Chinese Communist Party agenda here in Western Australia. But that wasn't it. Another incident happened in November last year when the Perth Museum was opened. The Chinese consul also intervened by making sure there was no reference to the coronavirus, COVID, ever originating from China. That's another interference that we had. So those 6 instances I've just mentioned are things that Western Australia should be very, very scared of. But they don't stop at that. We have an election coming up next month in March. On March 13th, all West Australians will be going to a poll. And we have credible evidence that the Chinese Communist Party, via the United Front, have been intervening in the city of Riverton. And all that will be reviewed in due course, but these are the sort of interferences that all West Australians should be scared of. So I'll leave you with that, and be very alarmed, be very scared of what is about to happen from the Chinese Communist Party interfering in Western Australia.
My name is Richard Liu. I'm founder of Perth Anti-CCP Association. In my spare time, I also lead a group of activists against the national security law in Hong Kong. Here's the t-shirt I designed myself. Thank you. Okay, today is the Tibetan Lunar New Year, but we don't have any celebration today because this same day, 70 years ago, the Tibetan government signed the peaceful treaty with the central government in China. They stopped the fire with the exchange of idea that the Chinese government will respect the culture, will respect the autonomy of Tibetan and its people. But it turned out it never happened. In 1959, the Dalai Lama was abducted by the Beijing officials. When he was visiting Beijing, he was forced to give up his control over Tibet and run away from Tibet to India. He exchanged his own control of Tibet for the safety and for the own well-being of his own people. That is why Dalai Lama is so renowned in Tibet and all around the world. We all admire him for his courage and determination for the Tibetan people. Last year, many incidents happened. China is trying to set up Uyghur concentration camps in a massive scale in Xinjiang, and some of them are being moved from Xinjiang to all parts of the world, all parts of China. And China is also grabbing its total control on Hong Kong and all the parts of China, like South Mongolia and Tibetan as well. In July last year, the Chinese central government proposed a new law called National Security Law in Hong Kong, prohibiting free speech, prohibiting free election, prohibiting the freedom of express in Hong Kong. The Hong Kong has turned from a city of Oriental Pearl into a city of fear and anger. But this does not stop here. Every people in Taiwan and even here, we are in Australia, are facing a constant and continuous intimidation and fear from the Chinese Communist government here. They are sending continuously airplanes to intimidate Taiwan people, to stop them from sending out their own message for independence. In such economic and political and military coercion, we should not give up fighting. We should join together, all the people, including Tibetans, Hong Kongs, Uyghurs, from all over the country. We should join together to fight against this evil regime. Whenever it comes to you, whenever you need support from any minority groups, any democratic groups in China, I'm standing with you. I'm with you. We fight together against this evil Chinese communist regime. Thank you very much. Thank you.